With the YouTube adpocalypse still looming over many channels, if you want to support this one, check out my Teespring store for the latest merch. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Monday Matt channel, and it's Pride Month here on YouTube, and they won't let you forget it. It's not to say that I have anything as pride. I don't. I'm straight. By all means, be gay. I'm just that's kind of where I leave it. But I always find it interesting when we start seeing social activism in the name of pride, or people using this month as a way to kind of bolster their opinion on something. And I kind of think that's where we are right now. And it goes both ways, by the way. So it says here that YouTube takes down anti-LGBTQ ad after multiple creator complaints. And I did talk about this the other day, where there were a lot of complaints against this one organization that was very much pro-life and anti-LGBT. And there was a lot of pushback about that. Now we see that YouTube has responded and YouTube has taken it down. Now it says Pride Month was just 3 days away when singer and YouTube creator Shannon Taylor tweeted to the video sharing site about the anti-LGBTQ advertisements appearing on his platform. Then 1 week into Pride Month, Team YouTube finally responded to another creator with the same complaint by removing the ad in question. So YouTube is oftentimes, slow to act on anything. But if someone paid money in order to post an ad on YouTube, and it went against the sensibilities of other people, YouTube responded back by saying, you can go here and you can block this thing. And instead of reinforcing that, instead of pushing that through, continuing to stand to what they said originally, they pulled the ad. Like I said before in my previous video, when there was a big pushback against the NRA, after Parkland, the NRA flooded YouTube with ads. I mean, they flooded it with ads to the point of where people who were very left-wing were getting NRA ads on their videos, and they were just like, what the hell is going on here? It's the same concept. People pay money, they run their advertisements, they can do, they can kind of broad, a bit of a narrow search or narrow push for who gets the adverts and whatnot, but it's still, we have no control. And YouTube gave a response, gave a reason, gave an answer, and that apparently wasn't good enough, as it never is, for people who completely realize they can profit off of outrage. And I'm not, again, I make money talking about outrage stuff too, so I'm not, completely criticizing them. I understand, but still. That's, instead of, understanding the way the world works, they decided just to complain until they got their way. And YouTube, every single time it comes to LGBT stuff, they bend over backwards. They will bend over backwards to accommodate that group of people over anyone else. And again, I have nothing against you if you're gay or straight or whatever, but I have noticed that's a trend, and I'm wondering if that's a lot to do with just the perception. They don't want the negative press, and the fact that they are also located in San Francisco area, and so I'm just wondering if that plays into it. And that's a valid question to ask, because we have seen there be favoritism shown to this group when others have been completely mistreated. So it goes on to say here that we're an open platform and support free expression of creators with a wide range of views, but don't allow paid advertising that disparages people based on who they are. This is coming from YouTube just yesterday. And so it says that we've removed this ad that violated this basic principle. And the ad itself, I mean, I've seen ads on there that talk about the end of times. Jay-Z ran an ad. It was a music video. It was one of the ads, and it had the full-on N-bomb, like every other word, and that was allowed. So it's like you have to, YouTube very much picks and chooses this kind of stuff, and that ultimately becomes, a bit of a problem when you're talking about equality and fair treatment. And again, I'm not saying I agree with that organization and what they were espousing. I don't. But I will defend someone's right to an opinion and someone's right to access certain things, provided they're not calling for the harm or destruction of anyone or anyone's property. And that's not what's happening here. They were spreading their message. Their message was shit, but that was still their message. Now, the same day, the YouTube blog featured almost those exact same words, penned by Ariel, Devin, and Victor on behalf of YouTube's LGBTQ employee resource group. Again, you can kind of see where things are coming from, while announcing the video platform's Pride Month campaign, #ProudToCreate. And again, I have nothing against Pride. This is more about principle in terms of fair treatment, and what's allowed versus what's not allowed, and also who gets the attention when people complain versus other groups that don't get the attention when they complain over almost very similar issues, in some cases the same issue. It goes to show you that there is a level of favoritism, and I don't think that's fair to the bulk majority of creators that are not in this particular group. And that's just the way that I see it. I'd like everyone to be equal, right? That's equality for you. But remember, we don't really live in that kind of world. People who preach for equality, I think, more or less want post-equality, which gets us into the equity argument, but we'll talk about that at another date. Now, it says, instead of focusing on celebrating Pride, the platform used a good chunk of its post to respond to LGBTQ creators about its various missteps regarding their content. In addition to hateful ads appearing alongside their content, the word transgender has triggered YouTube's algorithm to demonetize videos. Chase Ross, a YouTube creator with vlogs about his experience as a transgender man, pointed out how how blatantly this discrimination takes place. All right. Okay, look, I gotta sit there and really kind of like, this is, I gotta say this. I just gotta say this. This is one of my biggest pet peeves right now, and I have talked about it before. Right, I have taken screenshots of videos that get demonetized for whatever reason, and I'm just kind of like, this is, BS and whatever. But I understand that this is an algorithm that will target whatever. I will have a video that will have no dirty words in it, that will have no bad words. I won't even be talking about a bad thing, and it will get demonetized, and it will take upwards of 2 to 5 days in order to get approved. I had a video get approved last night that took 2 months to get approved, and like, no one's watched it, but it took them 2 months to approve it. The algorithm obviously is not working to the extent that it needs to. It does need to be fixed, but to sit there and claim that there's discrimination based upon who you are and what you talk about, I believe is a fallacy. I believe that it's a lie, and I think that people who do that know that, and I think they only complain because they know that it garners that type of outrage from the people that follow them, and I think that is a very big fallacy when it comes to trying to discuss the actual problems with the algorithm, instead of making, it's not all for, one for all. It's very centered on the response. Chase Ross here says, do not let YouTube get away with this. I uploaded my video twice to see if the word transgender would trigger the algorithm, and every step of the way was fine until I add the word transgender. Right away, the video was demonetized. It could be that. It could be other things as well. It could be the thumbnail, the fact that he's topless in the thumbnail. Who knows? Who knows? Right? Certain things get hit. They haven't really told us what it is yet. Right? It's, and then this whole thing here, and you got 30,000 likes and 16,000 comments on this tweet. And I've seen this from people like Dave Rubin that does the exact same thing. And I get why, but it's more like, I just have to, I let out a sigh every time I see that. Cause it's like, it's never the confirmed, but for manual or by manual review. So the video is demonetized. It's always the request review stuff, right? Come back when a video has been confirmed for demonetization, and then we'll definitely talk. But in the meantime, this is what happens to everyone. I have a movie news channel where I talk about movie news. Those will get hit, right? It's very, 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 very random how this stuff happens. But people want to make it a big deal, and Chase Ross obviously does, because, look, we all make our money, and if a video has, got demonetized and it's getting limited ads, you don't make as much. There are videos that will have like 20,000 views that get hit. I make like $2. I'm not even kidding you. I make like $2. And a lot of the money that's earned off of that comes from YouTube Red. So, like that's where it is right now. It's not the best system in the world, but this is where we find ourselves. Now, it says, while responding to the recent criticism from its LGBTQ creators, YouTube pointed out how its LGBTQ community has an extraordinary legacy of turning adversity into creativity and self-expression. Okay. YouTube ultimately addressed those creators' impact more bluntly, saying, you've helped make YouTube what it is today. I would argue a lot of people have, right? But it's always about catering to a specific group rather than to the everyone, which is one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of that kind of response, because it does act like, like, oh, you've helped make YouTube what it is today, but so is everyone else who posts content and engage with the community and the one that they build and the one that they create, and help the system, learn and grow and be better creators. Everyone contributes to the site, but you'll never hear that. You'll never hear that it's everyone, because they don't have a specific group, that's for everyone. They have very niche groups inside their employees. I guess it's so weird to watch play out. Now, the latest change in advertising policy is a direct example of LGBTQ creators shaping the video platform. As Pride Month goes on, YouTube encourages viewers to look for more content from creators who identify as LGBTQ on the YouTube Spotlight, Twitter, and Instagram. Not only that, but I watch a lot of YouTube on my Roku television, and the YouTube app on there has an entire banner or segment on the main page for just the Proud to Create. And they did that too with like Black History Month and like Women's History Month and everything else. So they very much cater to certain things. And it doesn't really bother me, but it's noticeable. And it's like, I can see how some people might be turned off by that because, again, it doesn't really feel like it applies to everyone. If you don't fit into a certain box or check a certain category, then you will never get the same kind of promotion, right? Like there'll never be a promotion for like, you know, for social commentators who try to preach equality, right? That will never get its thing. But YouTube's always going to do what YouTube does in this regard, and that's always going to be this sort of response. And as much as it sucks that they tend to cater to one group, when they do cater to that one group, it does tend to benefit everyone that it has also been complaining about it in a better way, which I know isn't right, I know isn't fair, and I know isn't fun, but it's the world we live in. And so at this point, I really have to ask the question, like when it comes to a lot of these other issues, can the LGBT community just get super upset about everything? Because YouTube listens to you. They listen to you more than listen to anybody else. So, you know, I guess at this point, if you have any complaints about YouTube, start directing it to the LGBT creators. Because they're the ones who could actually get a response that's valuable and meaningful. And in the meantime, YouTube, stop taking down advertisements that you that people don't like. If people want to spend money and advertise their product, their content, even if it's spreading a shitty message, you know, don't just sit there and fall, you know, and walk back your comments about how to make sure people can't see the content. Make it easier inside the creator studio in order for people to block those sort of ads then, okay? Because that's the whole point, is like it's just you kowtowed, and then you double down on promoting Pride Month, which just, it again feels like you're catering. And, you know, you're pandering, and that is seen by a lot of people who already don't trust you. And I don't think, you know, it's not doing much to, I think, foster a more inclusive community. But that being said, those are just kind of my thoughts on this one. Of course, this is usually a bit of a stream of consciousness, but what do you guys have to say about this? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been the Monday Matt channel. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, support via Patreon, great way to go about it. Teespring, great way. Or you can just watch more content, which you can totally do right now.